Shelters by Jesus podcast again. I'm Pastor Richard Berry. I am the senior pastor. I am, as everybody knows, is getting to know and is watching this, the crazy guy, the dumb hick from Skowhegan. I'm having a ball doing this. And for those watching, you figured out by now if you follow me, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. But we're doing it, and we're having fun, and you guys are making it all happen because you're donating and supporting this ministry that keeps us going. If you want to be a part of this ministry, $9 a month will take somebody off the street. We're going to be talking about something. We'll get you in just a second. Yep. We'll begin.
Come here, Vincent.
You can see this is not programmed. It's not scripted. We never know what's going to happen, and that's the great part of it all. So you can go to sheltersbyjesus.com to support us and hit a button that'll help us and put $9 a month on and get somebody off the street. Also, we've got books out. We've got 4 books out. They're Sheltered by Jesus, written by me, and they're in Hickanese. And we invite you to get those. They're $10 are free. We have 2 different prices. And of course, go to YouTube for my sermons on Saturday night. They're all on YouTube. My podcasts like this, they're on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please go and subscribe and then hit like, because we get money from that. We're now getting so many viewers out there that we're actually receiving money from YouTube. So you can support us if you say, well, I don't have $9. Well, hit the button, because if you're watching this, you can support us. That is so awesome. And we got something exciting today, something different. I have with me, actually, some folks who, Corey here is one of our residents, but here is his mom and dad and grandpa. And his mom and dad and grandpa, if you saw my North Monmouth podcast, which hopefully you have or you will, that's where they go to church. And their pastor is on my board, so that's how all of this come about. And so you've met Corey, and you've met his wife, Caitlin, and hopefully we'll have the Caitlins down here before this is over with. If not, we'll get them on another one. But I want to ask Mom and Dad and Grampy, I want to ask you guys a question. How does it make you feel knowing that your son, your daughter-in-law, your babies, and how many babies are there? 4 babies. The 4 babies. Okay, what is the thumbs up? Louder?
Yeah.
Okay, can you move that thing closer? You can't move it closer? All right, so you're gonna have to speak up like I do. So he has a little thing there that says red, blue, green, yellow. Open up your mouth, shut your mouth. It says all kinds of stuff. I don't know what it says. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. But could you, in your own way of telling us, how does it feel to know that your family, first of all, does it bother you they're in a homeless shelter? And then secondly, if it doesn't, why doesn't it? And how do you feel about all of this? Fair question, right? And would you introduce yourselves to the camera?
Hi, my name is Jim. This is my son Cody. That's little Jeremiah. We got Athena. Julian's back here. My father-in-law Russ. My wife Wendy. When we found out that Cody was in the situation he was in, he just didn't have a place to go. It was difficult for us because being a parent, you always want to be able to take care of your kids, even when they're growing. And it was really difficult for us to not have a place to put them. Throughout their childhood growing up, we took in kids here, there, and everywhere, helping them out. But our situation had changed, and we're in a different place, and we didn't have room for them, regardless of how much we wanted to. So it was hard to know that they didn't have a place to go. When we started thinking about it, one of the first things I came up with was that this church or this shelter is involved with our church. So the first thing I did was reach out to my pastor, Pastor Ed, and ask him if he thought there would be a place here for them. He put me in touch with Seth, and we took it from there. And initially, the kids tried something different. They went and stayed with friends and thought they were going to make it work, and it just wasn't really a good situation. And in the end, they came here. They were welcomed with open arms, and it's nice to know they're in a place where they're safe, and God has to be a part of their lives.
Well, Mom-in-law, too. How does that make you feel?
We have
We were hesitant because you don't know what to expect. You hear about shelters and the stigma is that these are people who have gone through horrible life experiences and are terrible people, and it's just not the case. Everybody here has been more friendly and giving. Even when they don't have themselves to give, they find a way to share, to spread the love, to teach other people things. They have co-op of babysitting. If they need to do something, there's always somebody with a pair of hands. It doesn't, and it's the little things. It's not throwing money at the problem. It's not solving it that way. Everybody is, oh, you need butter, you need milk, it's almost like a Mayberry solution.
Mayberry solution?
You know, you watch the old TV shows and you go to the neighbor for a cup of milk or a stick of butter. Everybody here is caring. They treat each other with respect. There's not the fighting and the bickering that you see when you picture gangs, and that's what you think of when you think of homeless. You really, that stigma is there. And it has been amazing because they've stayed with friends. They've stayed with other parts of their family. Not my side, true, but out of state, they stayed with family. And family can be hard. Family can be hurtful. And here it's a family of choice, not a family of birth. And it has been great for them. It's been good for the kids. They're safe, they are warm, they are fed, they are clothed, and they are expected to contribute, and that's the way it should be.
So how would you feel if they were in a different shelter and during this cold weather, they're asked to take your 4 babies out on the street during the daytime? How would that make you feel? What would you say to that?
That's not a true shelter.
Okay.
A shelter is a place you can go to be safe and warm and taken care of. If they're putting them on the streets during the day, there have been days that it's, 10 degrees. How is that shelter?
Well, that's a great point. People ask me, they have to go out days, and I say, why would I take them off the street to put them back on the street? That don't make any sense to me. The idea is, we open our doors, we say, come in off the street. We're not going to turn around and the next morning and go, oh, by the way, you got to go out on the street. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you at nighttime. Maybe, if we have a bed. So, that's the thing is, we want to instill in them a confidence that everything is okay. And we've been able to do that, I think, really well. Now, I got the $1 million question for you folks. I've had a pastor look me in the eye and say that these people would make him uncomfortable having them in his church. Now, how do you feel about somebody talking about your babies as they'd make him uncomfortable if they showed up in his church? You can be bluntly honest, because I tell it like it is. How would that make you feel, guys? Seriously.
Everybody has their own idea of what homeless is. And homeless is so much different than the picture in your head. And you can't, a good, accepting, and loving Christian accepts and loves all. And it's not always easy. There's definitely people that will stretch your patience and your kindness. But it's not everybody. And you cannot judge the whole by the few.
I love that. So, how does that make you feel, knowing people out there thinking, well, your kids are homeless, so they must be less than human, like feral animals. That's how they look at it. What does that bring to your mind when that thought is there, that my grandbabies and my babies are looked at like feral animals?
They are 3 months away from being in the same situation themselves, and they just don't know it.
Great point.
You really don't know the struggles of people's lives until you sit down and talk to them. And you just can't judge somebody based on preconceived notions. And
of course, we have your family here. And I can guarantee you, Seth's behind the camera. He's our chief of staff. And he was a member of your church. Actually, he still is a member of your church, I guess. That's okay. The wall held up. I don't know how the kid did, but she ran into the wall.
She's hard-headed like her grandma.
You hit your head?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I forgot my train of thought, so I'll have to come up with another question. What was I talking about?
We were talking about
Feral
how
animals.
people's judgment.
Oh, feral animals. Thank you. Thank you. Cody, how does it make you feel knowing somebody's looking at you and saying, this little baby that you're holding, this is a feral animal? How does that make you feel as a dad?
Well, if this is what they think a feral animal is, I'm okay with that. Because they don't know what real is.
Okay. They don't understand what the babies are all about. No, you know what the difference between this baby and their baby? What's the difference between this one and one that's out there? What's the difference?
Where they live.
There. That's what it is. That's what it is. So what separates them is how we happen to have our own rent or our own home, and right now you're in transition between homes because you don't have one. That's the only difference between this baby and other babies.
I think the big difference is my children will be grateful for everything that they get once they can achieve it on their own, and their kid might not have a clue.
Yep. There you go. Grandpa,
Yeah.
we haven't asked you anything yet, but I'm a grandfather. I can't imagine what was going through your mind if you're thinking that your grandbaby's going to be on the street. What was your thinking about all of this? How did you feel about it as a grandfather?
I didn't think they'd be on the street.
Okay?
And they're not.
They're not.
They're in good shape right now.
They are. They are. So you weren't worried about going out on the street?
Well, I was worried if they ended up on the street, yes, but
Okay.
when they said they'd take them in up here,
That took away the worry.
oh yes.
How would you feel if there was in another shelter? We got some just up the road, just a few miles, that turn them out days, and we had 40 below wind chill. How would you feel if your grandbabies were walking out in that? And
That's not shelter.
okay.
No, it's not shelter if you turn them out and only take them back at night. Shelter is sheltered 24 hours.
I agree. I know I would have been scared to death if they were my grandbabies. And, you know, I love the Lord and all of that. But if I thought my babies were going to be out on the street in front of me, I would be petrified. Oh, he's fine.
He's helping.
You know what's nice about here? That's a question I get asked a lot is, aren't you afraid to have those kids in here because they can destroy something? And what could you find in our building if I asked you that had more value than your grandchildren or your children?
Absolutely nothing.
There you go. And you know what? That's my answer. All right? Can they break something? Yeah, they
Yeah,
can.
they sure can.
You know, and they're in their own home. My kids broke stuff. I break stuff, for Pete's sake. So if it's determined whether or not I'm going to break something around here, I probably break more than they do because I'm a big gong. All right? But the value of the soul and how precious your babies are. I was kind of hoping we get your daughter-in-law down here, but she may make this one, if not, we'll do another one with them. But anyway, we got two Caitlyns here. We call them Caitlyn 1 and 2. And they carry this little 4-week-old baby around, and that thing is like a football on Super Bowl Sunday. That baby, I'm telling you right now, it has frequent flyer miles. It's like, it's everywhere. And everybody grabs it and goes. But see, that's what I picture what shelter means. That these children are sheltered. And the people here, first of all, nobody's allowed for a sex offender, they're not allowed here. If they've got violent records, they're not allowed here because of the babies.
Right.
So our number one thing is to make sure your babies are safe. So, anyways, is there anything else that you would share about having your babies here, or about the shelter, what you think of the shelter, what you think of the shelter ministry? Would you encourage people to support this ministry? Why or why not?
Absolutely, everybody should support this ministry. When you think about it, $9 a month, that's 30 cents a day. You can't get a pack of gum now for 30 cents a day.
You're right. That's good math, by the way. Where'd you come up with that, man? You got that right off the top of your head like that?
Oh,
And you're wearing a hat, and you
He's
still did.
He's been studying.
He's been studying?
I practiced a few times
Okay.
in front of the mirror to make sure I wasn't embarrassed.
All right. I like that, man.
No, it just, the amount of good that you people do here,
For the amount of money that you do it on.
it's just
It's
shocking.
unbelievable.
And it's nice to have an understanding of what is expected when you get here, and to hold people accountable, but still be accepting of differences. And it just, you can't find a better place. If you don't have a place to be, you can't find a better place or better people than there are.
Well, I really appreciate that. Cody, you guys are, I think, was your wife responding, said you guys are looking at an apartment? Was it that Caitlin? I have the wrong Caitlin.
Well, we both are, but the other Caitlin is waiting for the go so that she can go and sign some paperwork to move into.
Okay, so it's the other Caitlin. See, you know, son, you're doing better than I can. You can tell which one's your wife, and I can't always, so I get confused sometimes. Seth, did you give me a time thing there? Is that what you was doing? All right, so we're going to close this one out. We will do it with the Caitlins. You will see in a future one, Caitlin's 1 and 2, and the babies. We'll get that little 4-week-old in here, and we'll have all these babies. Between the two families, they have 10 children here. You'll get the chance to meet them, but I want to say thank you for following my podcast. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for going on there and hitting to give $9. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting like. All of those things make it possible for us to bring these families in, to give them a safe place to be, to make sure they're fed and clothed and taken care of. So I want to say thank you very much. And we give tours too. If you like a tour, we're at 12 McClellan Street in Skowhegan, Maine. You can call for a tour at 207-474-8833. Also, if you want my books, just mark on there, right on there, I'd like your books. We have 4 of them, 1 through 4. They're $10 a free. I think I mentioned that. But anyway, you can get them off there, or you can call the office. I've given you the number. Call the office and tell them you like the books. Just give us your name and your address, which ones you want, and we'll get them right out to you. So again, thank you for allowing us to bring the podcast to you. Thank you for taking the time to watch it. I'm also speaking around. If you'd like to have me come speak to your church or your organization, we'll come. We also, when we go, if you'd like, we can do a podcast after I'm done speaking. A podcast at your place, sharing your thoughts, what this is all about and how it affects you. We'd love to hear from you. God bless you. Catch you on the next podcast. Y'all come back now here.